Alright, good afternoon. John McLaughlin here with the Crossfire Forex Trading strategy. It's just gone 1 o'clock in the UK and we're about to do our session. So if you're looking to learn a really simple strategy, follow along because I'm going to show you exactly what I do. Right, so on the charts, on the 15-minute chart right now, Euro CAD, Euro USD, GBP CAD and GBP USD. I've checked the news earlier. This is kind of weird. It's Monday. Okay, so Monday obviously means it's going to be fairly quiet or fairly market's still warming up, and right now we're March the 4th and look, we've got very little news. 1400 we've got Euro news, low impact. That's it. Okay, that's it for the news. No 1330 US news, so I'm kind of guessing there's going to be not much in the way of volatility, so we'll just see. Anyway, first thing we need to do is to get the trend lines on. So we put our hang on right, so trend line. Oh, what's going on here? Hang on a minute, let's do it properly. Trend line, there we go, thank you very much, there we go. Right, so we'll put these, we're going to put the trend lines on in readiness for 13.15, and once these are on, I also like to put the vertical line on 1300, just so we're going to put those on. If you want to know a bit more about this strategy, I've got a little mini course on this channel. No, on my, because if you're watching this on the Forex in the trading group, okay, that'll be a bit strange to say that, but on the YouTube channel, I've got a dedicated YouTube channel. And if you're watching it on the channel, have a look at the card. If you're watching this on the Facebook group, then go below, have a look at the channel, and get access to the mini course. It's free, and it just goes through all the different specifics of the strategy. And if you're kind of serious about doing this, I know a lot of people look at Forex. I know a lot of people talk about Forex, but there aren't many people actually. There aren't many people who've done Forex over the last 4 or 5 years who have learned it and who are consistent with it. Most people just talk about doing Forex and they talk about the numbers, but not many people are actually successful in doing it. And as a group and as an individual, we are. Okay, so you'll definitely learn something of value in that course. There we go. Put that on the 1300. Again, you don't need that, okay, this vertical line, but it just gives me a bit of indication of what's going on. Right, GU. And we put all these indicators on the 15-minute time frame, and then we do our trades on the 2-minute time frame. Just gives us a bit of a slightly earlier entry or earlier decisions, so we can get in earlier. Right, so vertical line on here. Right, so again, if you're not quite sure what I'm doing, then go and look at that mini course and learn it. Okay, that's the thing. Don't just prod it with a stick like most people do. If you're going to do this, learn it, take the time to learn it, and let me tell you, if you do, you're going to have a skill. I would say skill for life. You probably have a skill for as long as we are still trading currencies. Let's say nothing more than that. Right, so let's have a look, see if we've got any areas of imbalance. There's all kinds of imbalance down here. So one thing I say about imbalance is that yes, you can get an indicator that will tell you about imbalance, but really you want to be teaching your eyes. Okay, teaching your eyes. All right, it's like a builder. Okay, builder looks at something, he goes, that's not plumb. All right, because they've got their eye in, and you need to do the same when it's trading. Okay, don't be lazy like most people are and just get indicators and just rely on flashing lights and buttons to, fortify their financial future. It doesn't work. Well, it'll work temporarily. This interesting look. So we've got a big price move there and we've got a gap. Okay, so that tells me that there's imbalance here. Okay, or something's happened here, which is what, 21. Yeah, the open of the session. So bit of a gap there. So right. So we've got a nice bull move. Nice bull move on there. So we might see some corrections going down to the downside, but we'll have to see what's going to happen. Right, Euro USD. What have we got on here? Okay, bit of a move down here. There's no news. Okay, no news prior. 11:30. Okay, if we look at Forex Factory, that tells us probably nothing. It never really does. Has a slightly different view on the news, but I always prefer my FX book. It just seems to be a lot more complete in terms of the economic news and what's happening. But something's caused that. Okay, so this is the 15-minute time frame, and when you look at this, okay, from here down to here, we're looking at 10 pips in 15 minutes, but we're still looking at, you know, $10 million per pip. So we're looking at $100 million move. Okay, you know, that isn't retail traders. That's institutions pushing the price down. So we've got to look at this move and this move. Okay, and kind of consider what's been happening there. Say lots of moves on the WAD hour. Anyway, let's have a look and see if we've got any areas of imbalance. Look at this crazy move here. This is at 15:15 on Friday. So big move on Friday. Usually, like I say, on Friday sometimes you get these big moves, trying to close positions, trying to meet targets before the weekend. That's clearly what's happened there. And we've got a bit of imbalance in here as well. Let me just take these out. So this really is all pretty much in balance. Right, currently 13:10, so we've got 5 minutes before we can put these trend lines on. So just whiz through these. So we've got a move here at 2300 yesterday or last night. No imbalance there. Extremely choppy. Lots of chop, and we've got a nice bull run up here. So again, we might see some corrections down to the downside, but again, we'll have to see. GBP CAD, Euro CAD, very similar. GBP USD, let's have a look at that. Lots of pushes to the upside from here. So no imbalance though, because we haven't gone below here. Maybe a tiny bit of imbalances here. Turn my heater off. Dog's burning. So imbalance just gives us an idea of the fact that price needs to go down. Check this out. Okay, this is money left on the table by the banks and the financial institutions, the big hedge funds, the big pension funds, and they need to go and take this money back off the table. But we don't know when that's going to happen, and sometimes, you know, imbalance can be there for weeks, even months sometimes. If we knew when it was going to get taken out, then we'd all be, you know, professional multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar traders, but we don't, so we have to use our skill. Right, so 1313. There's no point putting these trend lines on yet because it hasn't finished painting yet. So essentially what we're looking for when it comes to this strategy, okay, we've got our straightforward Forex indicator, which is custom made software that we've had made and developed, and we've refined it over the last probably 7.5, nearly 8 years now. So that we've got this, essentially we've got the two indicators, the wave down and the wave up. Okay, wave down, we're looking for potential sells and potential buys on the wave up. We've got the PSAR, which I like to use. So when it's red, pushing the price down, doesn't actually push the price down, but we're looking for that congruency all the way through, and we're looking for the green PSARs on the way up. Okay, and also we've got the moving averages. We've got the 5, the 13, the 62, and the 200. And what I like to do is make sure, if I'm looking at, say, a sell, okay, I like to make sure that these are pointing down in the direction of the sell and they're also in order. So that's kind of important. I'll walk you through that as well. I've got the pivots on there, which again, nice areas of interest in addition to the areas of interest that I put on as well. We can also use, without getting too complicated, points of control. Okay, so we can add different points of control based on volume. So we can put those on as well to give us additional areas of interest. But what I do find is that they sometimes coincide with the pivots. Okay, and again, if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, if you've got no clue what I'm talking about, then go and have a look at that mini course on my website. On my YouTube channel, and you can get all the information there. It's very simple and straightforward. Okay, so we're now 13:15. So I'm just going to go and put these indicators on, or these trend lines on. Okay, so there is our candle. So we're looking for the nearest high, which is this. Go and put the magnet tool on. Nearest high is this candle here, and then all we do is bring this down to the top of that wick, top of the 15-hour wick. Okay, then the lower low. Okay, the next low is the same candle, so we'll bring this down just to there. And because there's no wick on this one, we bring it through the center of the body. There we go, that's it. Bring that over to the 2-minute time frame. Okay, and we'll take the magnet tool off and we'll just wait for that to do its thing. Right, Euro USD, nearest high again, same as the last one, onto there, down to there, nearest low, and through the center of the body. There we go. 2-minute time frame. Take the magnet tool off. GBP CAD. So the nearest high from here, this one here. Bring this one down to the top of the wick, and the nearest low is the one next to it. There we go. Take that off. Put this on the 2-minute time frame. GU. So nearest high. Put the magnet tool on. Makes it things a bit easier. Nearest high. down top of the wick, and the nearest low from here, I would say that looks a little bit, see these two, a little bit same. So I'm going to go further to the left, put it on there. Then I'll bring this up to there. There we go, 2 minute time frame. Magnet tool off. Let's make it a bit bigger so we can see the thing. There we go. Right, so let's go back to EuroCAD. So essentially what we're doing is we're looking for the between the green trend line and the red trend line. And what I want is the price to go above the green trend line and we'll look at potential buys, and then looking at going below the red trend line for potential sells. But again, everything has to line up and everything needs to be congruent. Or confluent, shall we say? That's the right word. Okay, so we're looking for, if we're looking for sells, okay, or if we're looking for buys here, because I don't know, whatever, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere at the minute. Okay, so if we're looking for buys, okay, we're looking for a wave up, okay, we're looking for a green candle that is above the green trend line, we're looking for the green PSAR, and also in terms of the moving averages, see how they're all bunched up? It's not really very nice. It's kind of, I do like the 200 moving average to be above, and also that would act as a bit of a, not as a magnet, but just as a guide to show me where price may potentially want to go. And also the WAD Arata, this histogram, okay, wants to be away from this blue area, is what we call a dead zone. So this is the dead zone means there's pretty much no volume in the market. The histogram needs to be above that, and this explosion line, okay, wants to be moving away. So you see how this is moving away, okay, so it moved away, okay, but at the same time the color went lighter, darker red, lighter is weak, okay, and then you can see from there it pushed down a little bit, but then it ran out of steam, okay, ran out of steam, and then it went back up again. Okay, so that's really what we're looking for, is just the confluence of all the different things, and making decisions as we go, really. So that's not really doing much. I know it's above the green trend line, but it's not really doing too much right now. So again, we'll just wait, and there's no rush whatsoever. You can see this one, look, like there's no volume at all. We're in the dead zone. Okay, the histogram is trying to push out the dead zone, but again, nothing really happening. And a nice indicator of a good move would be something like this, where you've got the histogram coming away from the explosion line. Okay, so it's a nice positive move, but then, you know, we wait 2 or 3 minutes and it goes weak again. So we're looking for some nice strong moves, and we haven't quite got that at the moment. GBP CAD, and today could be the same. Today could be the way, because there's no news, there's very little volatility. If you look at the way the candles are, they're kind of a little bit flat compared to what they have been. Okay, if you look at what they have been, look, see a nice bit of some nice movements, and then suddenly we have this little bull run, and then it's just slightly less. Okay, so there's not a huge lot of volume right now. GU, so we're below the green, sorry, we're below the red trend line, only just. So where are we now? We're in a wave down. Okay, we've got the PSAR, which is above. Okay, we've got the histogram, which is showing us a fair bit of strength, but this explosion line is coming back to the dead zone. Okay, so again, we haven't got full confluence, and now obviously, look, it's just gone lighter color, which means, and you can tell that by looking at the candle, it's a doji candle, and now of course it's gone green. So just by looking at the candle itself, I can tell you a lot. And this is really what you want to do, is get into, excuse me, I'm going to put my fire back on again. Sorry if that makes a bit of a noise, but it's freezing today. Typical spring day in the UK, woke up to frost. So yeah, you want confluence, but what you want to be doing is reading into price action without trying to rely on too many indicators. I know one of the things is when you first start learning trading, you end up with like hundreds of indicators, and loads of lines on your charts, and suddenly you don't know, what you're looking at. So simplicity is the way, and just learn it longhand if you can. Particularly if you're going to take trading seriously. Not many people do, and not many people have really what it takes to be a trader, because it takes a lot of dedication to learn. Okay, and on average, what I found is, some people, very rarely they'll be doing trading for 6 months and they'll just grasp the concept and they'll be off and they'll be making good money. And there's people like me who, after 6 months, I was, still dribbling, still trying to find out what things were. I was getting the concept, but it took me a long while. And on average, what I found for average people, you're looking at about 2 to 4 years to really become fluent with the whole trading and to become consistent and profitable. Right, so Euro CAD. So that's gone above, look. There's our trend line. We've gone above the trend line. We've got the 5 moving average. We've got the 13 pointing in the direction. We've got, where's the 62? 62 just started to cross over, so that's not a bad sign. And then we've got the 200 there. So again, it's not ready to do anything. Okay. However, if this was a green candle, and we'd go, okay, so have we got any numbers? What's the next number? Okay, we'd look at taking profit up to the pivot. Okay, but is there enough? Is there enough in it? 6 pips. Are you really going to bother with 6 pips? Okay, in some cases, yeah, 6 pips is okay. But what we're looking at in terms of this strategy is percentages. So what we want is a 1 to 2 ratio. So we're looking to risk 1% and we want to gain 2% on our accounts. And if you think about the average bank, what do they give you? Like, maybe on a high return bank, they may give you 5% at the outset. I mean, crikey. A little while ago, my bank wrote to me and said we're lowering the interest rate to 0.02%. So nothing then, really. Okay, and that's what. So when you look at 2%, okay, return on a trade, and when you're using this strategy, sometimes a trade, no trade really takes more than around 45 minutes. Sometimes, depending on the volatility, it's not going to happen today because there's no news. But sometimes, you can get trades that last sometimes 5 minutes, and you're in and out of trade, and you'll do your 2%. And depending on how much you make, depends on your lot size. Well, it doesn't. It really depends on what you've got in your account and how you're trading. Okay. And one thing that I recommend and we recommend is if you're just starting trading, start on a demo account. Then start. I always recommend starting with your own money. Okay, because it gets you used to the emotions of trading with your own money. It's very different. Okay, and if you can trade with your own money in the same way that you can trade demo, then you will be ahead of probably 95% of the people out there who suddenly trade with their own money and then start doing really weird stuff. Okay, then from there, go and get yourself a prop firm account. Okay, so you can start trading with 10, 50, 100, 200,000 plus, and that's when that percentage, 2% makes a big difference. Right, so nothing really happening here. Let's just cycle through these. So you can say, look, we're below the trend line, but look at the Wadarata. Absolutely zero volume. Okay, so sometimes the Wadarata will keep you out. Sometimes the moving averages will keep you out of a trade. And really, what you want to be doing is thinking in terms of, why should I not get in this trade? What's going to keep me out? And it's a completely different mindset, and it's quite important to keep a check of that mindset as well. Okay, because you are thinking more pessimistically, in terms of what you're looking at. Sometimes people are so pessimistic when it comes to trading, they very rarely put a trade in. Okay, but it's better to be out of a trade than in a trade wishing you were out. Okay, looking at your account going to nothing, or go into stop loss. So again, looking at this, okay, we've got the wave down, okay, we've got the PSAR flip, we're below the trend line, but look, the Wadarata is keeping me out because look, the explosion line is coming back to the dead zone. It's almost touching that. We've got very little real volume. It's not really inspiring me to get in a trade at all. And we could, possibly we could get in a trade, but it's it wouldn't really be. I mean, if we looked at the movement right now, okay, down to the pivot is 13 pips. Okay, let me just show you what we would do if we were to get into a trade. Okay, so if we go into, we're going to short the position. Okay, obviously look, it's gone back, but this is where we get in. Okay, now going above the green, sorry, the red trend line. Okay, 4.7 pips. Now our indicator gives us these lines, okay, where the engulfing candles are, and this gives us potential take profit levels. Sorry, it gives us potential stop loss areas. Okay, so if we look at this 6.1 pips, what I've found is an average of around 7 pips is always quite nice. But what you've got to do, make the main thing, okay, would have come down, and we've got to try and get a 1-to-2 ratio. Okay, now if you look at this, just here, look, risk to reward 2. Okay, that's a 1-to-2 risk to reward, and what that means is that if this was going down in the right way, where potentially could it get, where potentially could the price go to? And if you look at this pivot, that's an area of interest. Okay, obviously we look a bit further back and we have a look at the previous price action to find out these intermediate areas of interest. Okay, but essentially the pivot is a nice area. Okay, and based on all the factors, we look at that. If this take profit was further down here, okay, then we might not consider that as a good trade. Okay, but that's what we're looking at, 1-to-2. But again, right now nothing's happening because we haven't really got enough volume. And look at the Wadar, look, it came down a little bit, tiny bit, and then we ended up back in the dead zone. Okay, and the explosion line is even further towards dead zone. So don't really expect much to be happening today because there's no news. Here's the news, look, 1400. The euros on low impact, and then 1600 potentially. I mean, potentially we can keep the charts open, but I don't want to be trading all the way through to 4 o'clock. What I'll do is set an alert, and we'll come back and have a look. But again, what are at? Showing weakness, no volume. No volume, look. Hasn't even gone anywhere. It's just kind of mulling around this area. It's sort of like sideways rotation, a little bit of consolidation going on. And I kind of expect that probably all the way through to 1600, where something may well happen at 1600. So Euro USD, again, no volume, look. There's been no volume since 1300. So we're above the green trend line, okay, but that's only kind of half the story. We've got to look for the wave ups and waves downs. I mean, currently when a wave up, okay, PSAR is the wrong colour. The moving averages, what are they doing? So we've got the 5, that's pointing up. We've got the 13, which looks like it's moving up. We've crossed over right now on the 62 and the 200, but they're not really in the direction. And the other thing is as well, is even if this went up, this area is an area of resistance for this price. So from here we're looking at what, 3 pips. So if you look at maybe whatever your broker spread is, which is the amount of commissions the broker takes off you, and they take it off you immediately as soon as you enter the trade, that spread is taken. Okay, so in every case when you go into a trade, you're going to draw down, okay, because of the spread. So you've got to bear in mind, you've got to take into consideration broker spread. And if you would never even consider getting into a trade with 3 pips of potential profit, because you're just giving money away to the brokers. I wouldn't consider any on scalping. Generally I don't consider anything less than 10 or 12 pips of clear, maybe even more, because you just don't want to be, what you want is the price to be able to breathe, so if you've got some nice clear air, so if this suddenly went down, then you see you got all this nice clear air down to the pivot, okay, that's potentially a good trade. But right now it's I wouldn't even consider getting in. Right, Euro CAD. So Euro CAD has gone, so there's our trend line, okay, it's gone above the trend line, but now it's at the pivot, okay, so now it's at a resistance zone. So what we'll find is price will either do two things, any sort of zone, it's going to bounce or break, okay, and it's either going to break through and continue up to this area of imbalance. Let me just check this area of imbalance is valid. No, that's gone, look. It's been mitigated. So this area of imbalance is still active. See, this area here was what we're looking at the 30th of November, and it's still active. So this is money that's been put on the table by the big boys, and it's still active. So showing me Canadian at 1445, but it's not showing me on this. Strange. So what we've got here is we've got price trying to break away from the pivot, okay. Not really succeeding, because see what it's touching, and it's still touching, it's still in resistance. But if it does break through, okay, what I'll do is I'll go and look left and look at previous price action, but essentially from here to here we've got 26 pips of profit, which is the clear air I've been talking about. And if we go left, what have we got? We've got a nice little run up here, okay, so to here, so that's our area of interest here. Conservatively, let me just go and change that colour. Right. Okay, so we've got a bit of clear air there, which isn't too bad. So again, 12 pips of profit to there. So if we were to go into this, we go long. Now this, again, what we are now, we're on 1:29 on a 2-minute time frame. This could retrace like it's doing now. It could retrace, hit that line, which it's just done. Oh yeah, it's just done now, okay, which means we don't get in the trade because it's still in resistance. Okay, so what we want is a nice clear gap, and we're not there yet. Okay, so again, that was just, but essentially the numbers potentially could work on there, but the price is just not right now. I think with the 2-minute with a 2-minute time frame, it gives you an early warning system so you can get in or potentially assess a trade earlier, but you don't necessarily want to be getting into a trade earlier because, like I said, I could have put my what do you call it, my take profit and stop loss on there, and it's just doing what it's doing now. It's retracing because the price was still in resistance. Okay, I'll come back to that in a second. Back to, where are we now? Okay, Euro USD. So it's just starting to knock through. Oh, see, there's the red trend line, and again we had this little run up here. Okay, and again, if you're going to get into trades like this, it's just scraps on the floor. That's all you're doing. You're fighting over scraps on the floor, and you're hoping that price is going to go up so you can make a bit of profit. It's no good. Okay, you don't want to be getting in any trade. You want to be getting in good trades, and this is nowhere near a good trade because, you know, it's Monday. The markets are warming up. There's no news. There's no volatility, so we just kind of wait. So it is pushing down, okay, but at the same time, no volume, okay. Explosion line, kind of neutral. In fact, the explosion line looks like it's still going back to the dead zone. So again, just wait, be patient, sit on your hands, or indeed get your hands around a nice mug of coffee. Again, consolidation. This is GBP CAD. Nothing doing. GU. In fact, excuse me. Let me just make that a bit bigger. A bit better. Just put my seat right. That's it. See what you've got here. You've got it's just an area of, it'll probably end up coming down to here and then just bouncing around this area. At the moment, it's not doing much. So if you go to something like GBP CAD and you are in a sideways rotation, i.e. consolidation, just put your parallel channels on, okay? So grab it about here, okay, somewhere around there, okay, just above that price action. Hit shift, okay, click your mouse, go over, okay, then release, should have been release your mouse, okay, there we go, and then pull this down. There we go. So pull that down to around there, okay. Just grab the shift again because that's gone a bit askew. There we go. Okay, so you can do that, okay, and when price comes out, okay, the top or out the bottom, okay, which would maybe bring it out of the consolidation, we can set an alert. Okay, so we just go and set the little timer clock. See the thing there, it says add alert, click on that, okay, and you can add whatever message you want. Okay, go and have a look at, you know, GBP CAD, but I'll just leave it like that, okay. And you can do it only once, so you get one alert go off and that's it, or you can do it once per bar close, or once per minute, okay. And you know, once per bar, every time it comes out, okay, it will activate, which sometimes if you sat at your computer can drive you mad. Once per bar close means once this is finished painting after the 15 minutes, or after the 2 minutes rather, it'll go off. So we'll create that, and maybe maybe we'll see that activate. But now what you've got now is you've got this little clock next to the parallel channel, so it just tells you that you've already got an alert set on that. Okay, so we don't have to keep checking it. You know, we're looking at 4 pairs. You can do the same on all 4 pairs, and then you can walk away, and you'll get an alert on your email or your phone or however you set it up on TradingView. And that's sometimes the best way to trade. So, because to be quite honest, I've finished sessions and walked away having set alerts, and then suddenly the alert goes off and your mind is back in trading zone. Right, here we go, we're back in trading zone, let's have a look. Let's get some pips made. You know, and the thing is with trading as well is that things can change. It's a bit like going out in the sea. Okay, things can change pretty quick. You got to be ready. Okay, you got to be ready for it. Right, let's have a look at GU. What's that doing? Nothing. So you can see now, even though, what are we in? We're in a wave down. Okay, so currently we're in a downtrend. Okay, one of the little sayings. Okay, your trend is the friend until the bend. Okay, so currently we're in a downtrend, and obviously we want to be going with the trend. Okay, and our straightforward Forex indicator is saying wave downs, even though it's currently going up. Okay, but currently in wave downs. We've got the PSAR flip, so you can see how we've got this incongruency. Okay, incongruency. We'll keep that word. So we've got wave down, and yet we've got a green PSAR. Okay, incongruent. Okay, then we've got the histogram. Okay, which is showing as green almost, and push upwards. Okay, so we're still waiting for things to happen really. And the other thing we've got the moving averages in the wrong order. Okay, we've got a crossover now of the 5 and the 13, and then we've got the 200 and then the 62. So it's all arse about face, which is the technical term for stay out of the trade. Right, what have we got? Let's go and look at Euro CAD and see what that's doing. So Euro CAD, remember we came up, okay, we looked at possibly going up to this level here. It retraced, okay, now consolidating on there. So usually when pairs consolidate, okay, when you look at something like like this, at this sideways rotation, what happens after consolidation? You get a big move, okay, and that big move could well come at 1600, okay, 1600. With the US news, medium impact news. Okay, Fred Harker speech, 6-month bill auction, and a 3-month bill auction. Okay, so if you click on these, it'll tell you more about those. But just all you need to know is that it's medium impact news on the US, and that could have an impact on price. So nothing happening there. Euro USD, nothing happening there. Again, area of pretty much consolidation. G-card, got that one already squared away. So we're still on the wave down with this. Heat it back on. It gets too quick and then it gets cold quick. There we go. Right, now I've got the wave up. We've got the PSAR, which is the right colour. It's a fair distance away from the body as well. That's quite good. We're above the green trend line. The moving averages, again, they're all over the place. So that's going to be a little bit, just going to be a bit mindful of that, and also the fact that from where price is right now, we're only 4 pips away from the pivot. Okay, and the pivot is a significant area of interest where price is probably going to reach, and it may well go above here. Okay, but what, you know, where's the emphasis for price to go anywhere further than where it already is? or those previous highs where the crosshairs are now. Okay, and as you can see, it's on the 62 moving average, that green line, and it's currently offering resistance. So it's going to do two things: either going to bounce or break. If it breaks, then we're going to go, okay, well, where is price potentially going to go to? And that's when we can start working out whether it's going to be a good trade or not. And right now, under these conditions, I won't bother. Won't bother. And you can see, look, it's bouncing off that 62 moving average. So the green candle here went up and bounced off it. Then this came up, tried to go through, bounced off it. Price is now going down. I mean, there's still plenty of time left. I mean, you know. Okay, let me go. So again, retracing from there. So even though we had the wave up and the PSAR and everything else, the overall opinion or the overall synopsis of the market and price action is just telling us there's not enough volume to do anything. And that yawn is about the state of the trade today. But it is Monday morning or Monday afternoon. Well, it's Monday morning in the US. It's 13:48 here in the UK. Right, let's have a look round. So Euro Canadian dollar. Showing a bit of a push. You can see how the volume is quite reasonable on the WADA. Okay, but we're in a wave up, which says no, stay out. The explosion line is moving back towards the dead zone. So as you can see, the confluence isn't there, and that should tell you something as well. When you get that, what's the word? Tell me the word, please. It'll come back to me. But when the confluence isn't there, it just tells you that the market isn't ready. Okay, what you want is everything in a line, all your ducks in a row. Okay, before you take a trade, and then you sometimes draw on your own experiences. So now we've just got this wave down. Look. The PSAR is red. The histogram has gone salmony pink, which means we're losing the strength on the sell, which obviously is there because we've got a green candle. And the other thing is, even if it was red and it was continuing to go down, our next area of interest is the 200 moving average. Okay, so based on where price is right now, 4 pips, and then down to the pivot 8 pips. So again, battling for scraps and crumbs on the floor. Well, let's go look at Euro USD. Same thing. Euro USD. No. GBP CAD still in that consolidation. Look at the WADA. Look, it's just even from here, just little bits and pieces. GU. Nah, it's just a tale of nastiness. Best days to trade, typically Tuesday to Friday morning. They're the best times to trade, and even then, he says pessimistically, you've still got some financial climates, or some weeks are better than others. you know, and people will say this where you'll get some weeks that are really good, and you know, where you get loads of opportunities to trade, and some weeks that are just slow, and that's the way it is as you know, as retail traders. But it depends on your strategy as well. It depends on your strategy. Like, because I'm doing scalping with this particular strategy, then yes, there are certain limitations as to when I can trade and how I trade. The good thing about our trading community is that we have several different trading strategies that will suit your tolerance to risk. So you've got things like this, where you can be in a trade for a relatively short amount of time with a relatively small amount of risk, 1% of your overall account. Okay, so you know, you've got to make sure those numbers are right. By the same token, we've got other strategies where you can be in a trade a day, a few days, a week, maybe 2 weeks, and it's a lot more relaxed. And of course, that strategy is called relaxed, and that works for people as well. So I know some people who kind of get a little bit twitchy and they start, you know, getting a bit of a twitch on when they're in a trade for too long, and you know, some people quite like that. They're quite happy to be in a trade for a long time. And what I say when it comes to trading, have a strategy that suits your lifestyle. Okay, there's no point trying to learn a strategy that is difficult to learn because you can only learn it, you know, once every leap year. Okay, because otherwise you're committed at work. Just have it so it fits around your existing work commitments, and that's how you're going to learn. You know, so make it easy on yourself. And when it comes to trading, make the decision to learn. Make the decision to learn your trade. Okay, learn your trade and learn to trade. Because let me tell you, you know, once you've learned how to do it, and it will take a while, you've got a skill for life. You know? Just believe in yourself and have that confidence. But you know, you get that confidence by repetition and putting the work in and putting the time in. Well, let's check this. So to the pivot, I think we checked this before, didn't we? 3.5 pips to these areas of interest here, 7 pips. So if we were to take a trade on here, let me just show you what I would do. Okay, I go long. Okay, currently we're around here. Okay, so in terms of a stop loss, okay, we could take this stop loss here at this engulfing candle, or we've got a break of structure here at 4.5 pips. Excuse me. Or 7.4 pips. Now the thing we've got to we've got to look at is, can we get a 1 to 2 ratio? We'll look at where the crosshairs is right now for these highs. Now we're going to be lucky if price goes up to here. Okay, we're going to be even luckier if price breaks above this pivot, and then if it does break above the pivot, it's likely to go to here. In fact, let's put a little marker on there. Okay, because they're previous highs. Ignore these because these are just a bit of a bonus, but this is where price may well go. Okay, now you got to look at your chart here and go, okay, 7.4 pips, where are we? Okay, we're a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Okay, so we've got a 50-50 chance. All right, we're tossing a coin as to whether we win or lose. Okay, which is useless. Okay, now when you've got a 1 to 2 ratio, you don't have to win. You've only got to win 50% of your trades, okay, to be in profit if you're making 2% compared with a 1% stop loss. Okay, so that stop loss is too much. So if we shortened or reduced the stop loss to 1 to 2, which is there, okay, it takes us, it's not too bad actually, because this red trend line is a reasonable area of resistance for price coming down, so it may well bounce off, may well push all the way through and take us out. and also got this area here of the engulfing candle, so it's not too bad. I mean, the only reason I put it on there is simply because of the 1 to 2, and also if you look at it, it's just on this, just by chance it's on this area up here. Okay, but in the current climate, we'll be lucky to see it go up to the pivot. We'll be even luckier to see it go up to here. So do we want to be lucky, or do we want to be strategic? And the answer is strategic in every case. So this isn't a trade that I would look at. I'm just putting this on for illustration purposes to show you. You know, is there enough legs in the move, or is there enough numbers? I always use the analogy of walking into a house and going, okay, this house, it's going to cost me 50 grand to buy the house. It's going to cost me 8 grand to do it up. That's 58 grand. How much is the house worth? Okay, well, next door is worth 95. So therefore I've got profit. Okay, it's got legs. Okay, and you need to look at it in the same way when you're doing trades. Has it got legs? I'll say it's got possibly got legs, probably hopping along at the minute. I'll come back to him and see how he does in a minute. But at the moment it's going up, but like I said, I'll be lucky if it goes up to the pivot, and I'll be even more surprised if it breaks through and goes up to this area up here. Okay, extremely surprised, but we'll just have to see. And again, when you're in that position where you're saying to yourself, it'll be good if it does, but I don't think it will, that's when you stay out. Okay, I'll stay out. Thanks very much. Right, let's have a cycle through. So we're currently on GU, so let's go back and look at EuroCAD. So EuroCAD's made a bit of a move to the downside. It's moved down to the 200 moving average, and is offered resistance. Okay, it's still in resistance because it's still touching that area, and also the candle is green. So on the 1 hour we've got a slight movement away on the explosion line from the dead zone. We've got a light colour on the histogram, so it's kind of telling us that it wants to go down, but you know, right now we're in resistance with 200 moving average. We've a short distance away. Sorry, I've got cramp on my leg. We've got a short distance away from the pivot, and then we've also got resistance on the green trend line. So doesn't really bode well for legs. Doesn't have the legs. Euro USD, just nothing, just congesting. I mean, like all the moving averages are all kind of congested together. It's nasty. It's nasty. Okay, so pound Canadian dollar. Again, we've only got a few pips down to the 200 moving average, and we're still in this consolidation area. I mean, this area here, we'll look at that, 20 pips. No, we could maybe do something with that, but we're going to go one side or the other. There's too much in the way. There's too much in the way. There's no real clear air, and that's just rubbish. Did we? Yeah, we did. So that's approaching the pivot. It'll be interesting to see what happens when it goes to the pivot. It's more likely going to bounce off it or retrace before it gets there, but we'll see. Okay, we're just touching the hour, so I'll just see how things go with this one. Kind of intrigued, see what's going to happen, but like I said, it's probably going to retrace before it gets there, and that's what it's doing right now. So again, it would never have got into this trade, but if we did, wow, look, we've got 3.6 pips of profit. So you take away maybe a pip or two for broker spread, and you probably made about 12 pence. So congratulations. So in terms of sort of take profit levels, as I say, it does depend on what you've got in your account, depends on what you're trading with. And I always recommend, like I say, starting on demo, always trade with some of your own money, even if it's like $100. Put $100 in a broker account and you will get used to the emotion of watching your money either grow or go to stop loss, and it will teach you a lot more about trading than anything when you're actually trading with real money. Once you've traded with your own money, okay, and you're taking ownership, it's very visceral, okay, when you see it and you can see the numbers in your account either increase or decrease, okay, you've got to deal with that, and you've got to develop that mental strength when it comes to trading with your own money. Then move over when you get more confident, and then start with a funded account, with a prop firm, and that's what you want to do. My funded account is 50,000, and again, that was kind of like it was a starter. It was something that I'd wanted to do for so long, and just for some reason I had barriers in place of, okay, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not ready yet. Okay, just go out and do it. Start with like a $10,000 account. It won't cost you much. If you start with something like a $50,000 account, it cost me $380 to do that. But what it means is, it means 2% of 50,000 is $1,000. Okay, so if price goes up to this level here, okay, and I take profit, okay, the numbers mean $1,000. I get to keep 80% of that, so that's $800. By the same token, if it goes to stop loss, okay, then it's $500 because it's 1%. So again, it's that's why you always look at the pessimistic side. You never let the optimism bias get the better of you, because it's an amateur thing. It's okay. It's okay. Price is fine. The price is friendly today. Okay. I always think it's just an algorithm that you're dealing with. And you're a retail trader. But the thing is, you start with a $50,000 account, you start to make some nice profit. You can then move up to 200,000. You can then stack those accounts together, and before you know it, you can be dealing with $500,000, $1 million, $3 million in some cases, and you're dealing with the same strategy, the same risk to reward. The only difference is you're dealing with bigger numbers, and that's what I found with the property developing. You do your first property, you're dealing with 15,000, 17,000, then it's 20,000, then 25, and then 50, and before you know it, you're dealing in hundreds of thousands. But because you've built up gradually and you've developed that metal, the resistance to big numbers, you get used to them, and it's the same in trading. You need to get used to the numbers gradually, and we call it the financial thermostat. What is your financial thermostat? And you'll find a lot of people, they feel extremely uncomfortable when they're dealing with big numbers, okay, because they're not used to them. So you've got to develop it over time. And when you're dealing with, a $500,000 account, and I talk about that broker spread, and as soon as you hit the go button, okay, you're hundreds or maybe even more of dollars in drawdown, okay, you've got to get used to that straight away. So you just got to build up gradually, but you will. So this is yes. See, this almost approached the pivot and decided to retrace, come back, which I kind of expected anyway. Right, okay, an hour and 4. I'm going to call it a day. A quick have a look through them all. So Euro CAD. Euro CAD came down to this pivot, but it's still very much in resistance with this 200 moving average. So nothing doing on there. Euro USD, poor, generally poor. Okay, GBP CAD hasn't even come out of that consolidation. Still knocking on the door of this 200 moving average, where it'll probably end up bouncing back from there. And the GU, which we looked at, okay, which is still kind of doing its thing, but I think it's just gonna continue down. But there we go. Like I said, very slow day. So if you're going to continue doing this, what I would do, have a look at 1600, set your alerts, okay, set your alerts, and then come back at around sort of 15:45. Have a look, keep your charts open, and look out for trade opportunities around that time. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you got some value from this, give us a thumbs up. Really appreciate that, and also subscribe to the channel. You can go below, just subscribe to the channel. And subscribing, let me tell you, it just means that I know people are watching this and I can do more trainings like this. And by all means, if you've got any comments or questions, drop them in the comments below, because they help not just you but everybody on the channel as well. And questions are really good, so drop me those as well. Right, I will see you on the next session. Bye for now.